This is another one of my Big Chief Studio figures from the James Bond series. Obviously, this is Oddjob, played by Harold Sakata. And if you're a fan of the GoldenEye game, you'll know him as the very short character in there that people hated because they would constantly shoot above him. It's a little bit insulting to Harold Sakata because Harold Sakata was not a short man. He was about 5'10". He was an Olympic weightlifter and a professional wrestler. He wasn't exceptionally tall, but he was not short. He was not like Oddjobs. I'm sorry, he is Oddjob. He wasn't like Knick Knack. So I don't know why they made him so short. I guess they wanted a tiny character to be the opposite of Jaws, but they should have used Knick Knack because Harold Sakata was about 220 pounds, and Oddjob was kind of the first. He was the prototypical indestructible henchman. He's the first I can recall. Red Grant was tough, but in his fight with James Bond, it was clear that James Bond could not beat him. The only way James Bond did beat him was by electrocuting him. So he played as Korean, but he's actually of Japanese descent. He was born in Hawaii, so he is American, but of Japanese descent, not Korean. I think that I'd say that the real strength of the Big Chief Studio figures is the facial sculpt, and this is just another one that is practically perfect. In fact, I can't think of any issues I have with the facial sculpt at all. For a high-end figure, what you really want is you want a facial sculpt that is unmistakably the character in which it is they're trying to reproduce. And this is definitely Harold Sakata from his time when he was Oddjob. So here's a few different angles of it. He's got the bowler cap, and unfortunately, I didn't expect it to be metal rimmed, but I thought maybe they could kind of give the impression, but they didn't. It does sit on his head beautifully. It's hard to make a hat that sits on a figure without either making the head small or the hat large, but this really sits beautifully on there. It looks very nice. So good job on that. The suit, which is the only suit he ever wears, is very nice. Another exceptional job by Big Chief Studios. They don't always nail the suit, but this is really good. I really like this one. The articulation in this one is better than many. He's a little bit padded up, but not bad. Harold Sakata was had a very thick build, but the arms they're not padded, although they don't necessarily, I don't know that this the size of Harold Sakata's arm, but the suit kind of makes it look very thick, so not a problem. The pants are really nice. They feel great. Everything about this figure. This is one of the Big Chief Studio figures that I really have no issue with, and he will stand on his own. Oh, no, maybe not. Yeah, there you go. So there he is, standing without a brace. I always put them on a brace because these figures, if there were a slight tremor, any kind of shake, truck goes by, they'll fall over. Probably. So there's his plate. So he's got pretty good feet. The shoelaces, not real. I have seen some high-end figures with actual laces, so it's not unreasonable to expect that, but they are not. But everything on this figure feels really good. The fabric on the pants, the suit, starched to death. I forgot about this. I put some padding in here. I did that on my own because it did kind of. So if you look in here, That's padding that I put in there. And because this was kind of folding in, and so I thought that that gave him. I don't generally modify my figures at all, and of course I could just remove that padding. I don't like to modify my figures. I think the figures should come as correct out of the box. But I thought that this gave it, because it was kind of folding in. So I said, all right, let's fill it out a little bit. Um, so I did slightly modify it, but again, I could just pull that tissue out of there if I wanted. But you can really admire that facial sculpt. That is gorgeous. And then it's sitting on a shelf. This one is really eye catching. And even without the plate, anyone who knows James Bond at all will know that's Oddjob. That is unmistakably Harold Sakata as Oddjob. So this is one of my favorites. This was one I almost didn't get too. Um, I kind of sat on this one for a while, and I said, you know what? I really do want to get this. So I managed to still get it at the MSRP, at the price that Big Chief Studios was originally selling it at. So I'm not sure what it's at now, but I don't think you can possibly get it at the original price. I'd be surprised, maybe somewhere, but I don't believe you can buy it new except from a third-party seller at this point.